Hello, hello, good morning, muy buenos dias, continuous liners. This is Meagan Burns coming to you live from the foggy streets of San Miguel de Allende. Good morning. How is everyone doing on this Thursday, October 24th, 2024? Is that right? 10-2424. Yeah. I am here back at home here after kind of a whirlwind trip to Mexico City. Been back here now, and I thought, well, I'm going to do a live stream from here as I do my continuous line warm-ups. And for this, I use only copy paper. I don't use the finest paper possible. And I also I keep it in a Ziploc, right, because that's super practical in case it rains or in case I spill my coffee, which I rarely do. But it keeps it protected from the elements, right? And I use a ballpoint pen because this is not the place where you want to spend your money on art supplies, right? Because we can save our money for our inks and our watercolor paints and our good paper for when we're out there creating our urban sketches or whatever it is you're doing. This is not about urban sketching for sure. So this is where we just use copy paper and we do our line warm-ups. And I get it. This is not the most sexy part of being an artist, the practicing, the warm-up, the strengthening, the conditioning. It's honestly probably the most boring part because usually you're just sitting there by yourself doing your line warm-ups, right? But honestly, it's if you do any sort of line warm-ups, drawing warm-ups, if you incorporate that into your drawing practice changes, right? There's just no way it can't change, right? Like I say, through practice, all things are possible, because I certainly have had people say to me, they look at my art, and they're not like my art's good. I love my art, right? It's all relative, but I've had people look and say, oh my God, I could never do that. I said, well, you could with practice. Oh, I can't even draw a straight line to save my life. Well, you could draw a straight line to save your life. If someone was going to push you over a cliff and you had to draw a straight line to save yourself, you probably could do it, right? Oh, my people are just stick people, right? Like there's a lot of stories out there why people can't make art, and I get it. It's a belief system, and I'm not free of that sort of storytelling, right? Like oftentimes we just get attached to our stories of, well, I can't do that because of this, and of course I can't do that because of this. And with art, it being such an emotional thing, people have lots of stories of why they can't do the thing, right? And it took me a whole lifetime to start to get back to making art because of something that happened with my mom and my brother. My brother got all the I wouldn't even call it accolades, but he got the attention for being an artist, right? He was the firstborn. Everyone thought he was the greatest. So he got all the attention for being an artist, and it's not even like anyone went out of my way to say you're not an artist, but I just took that overall thing as like, well, he's the artist and I'm not, and I'm just a silly, stupid girl who can't really do anything. And I kind of told myself that throughout my life. I hung on to that story. Well, of course I can't make art. I have to work for a living. Well, of course I can't do whatever. I had a lot of stories, right? And I've heard a lot of stories. It's kind of like sometimes when some people see me drawing, they're like, they want to tell me why they can't. And it's just how we're built, right? We get attached to our stories, our belief systems. I mean, look what's going on politically. There are, politically, my God, right? Like there's people that are committed to their loyalty to someone who is completely out of his gourd, right? And they just, they're committed to their beliefs and that they think that he is good for some things when in reality he isn't. But they're so committed to their beliefs, they don't care about facts or reality, right? And so it's honestly, I mean, not that this is this isn't the first time something like this has happened, but it's just weird to see in real time, right? I mean, my lots of people in my family are committed to that criminal, and I think almost everyone that I grew up with is like on that camp and on that team, and it's just amazing to me. Beliefs that we get, that we become loyal to. And sometimes it could be a good thing, but it's usually a weird thing that keeps us stuck, right? Anyways, so art is, 50% emotional, maybe even more, right? And so at some point, if it's something that's important to you, you just decide to do it. And, I'd say for me, after about 10 years, it just got to a place where I got a little bit clearer about the kind of art I want to do, right? Like, I love urban sketching, but I don't like pretty, boring landscape watercolors, right? I like illustrative, bold, expressive lines. And so when I moved to Mexico City, I really, something with the continuous line, it just hit me, right? And there's been no turning back. So, and given this whole season, I mean, we're in the American election season, which is just, it's so exhausting. It's so exhausting. I mean, I think that no matter what team you're on, it's exhausting because it's just never ending, the drama, the fighting, the name calling. Did you hear what he did today? He pooped on the stage and nobody said anything. They just pretended like he didn't poop all over the stage. Ha ha ha, isn't that funny? I mean, honestly, that's where we're at, right? He's pooping on the stage and nobody cares. Oh my God, we got to get rid of this guy. It's just insane. So, this, the last, what are we in, the last quarter of this year? I think so. We're coming into the end of October. So yeah, we're at the end of, oh my God, we're at the end of the year, right? You really, 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 really got to take good care. You really, I almost feel like we have to fight for our sanity right now. We have to fight to keep it together, fight to keep it, keep yourself, away from like getting overly stressed out. Because I think we haven't even seen the worst of it, right? Like, it's going to get chaotic. And, when Trump loses, he's going to try to put together another insurrection. We just know this. They're already priming the pump for him to claim that everything is rigged and stolen. And why they're letting him get this far into it is amazing, even with him pooping on the stage. So that's going to be chaotic, and it more chaotic than it already is, right? So really, you got to do whatever it is that works to keep you de-stressed, right? Even just to walk away. That's why my drawing practice is so important to me, because it's an opportunity for me to like walk away from the chaos and the noise, because it's just never ending. I wake up in the morning and I look at my phone and it's like, it's the conversations like, well, yes, he did poop on the stage, but did you hear what he said about, tariffs and how they're going to save the world, right? Like, that's how where we're at, right? So, for me, it's drawing. It's for, like, I was out with the San Miguel Urban Sketchers yesterday, just sitting on in a plaza and drawing the Muertos Mercado. It's just a way to kind of get out of the news cycle and just sit in the world, right? And there's still beautiful things in the world. And this is how I really structure my classes and my workshops, right? They are an opportunity to detach from the noise and get centered. It is super. I'm not just playing around when I say that, because it's literally my lifeline. Is to, I do things to stay healthy, ideally. With what I eat and the exercise I do, but also like I gotta really take care of the mental stuff, because we're like in uncharted territory with the assault on our, the amount of gaslighting and everything. That's, oh my God, the sun just came out. It's been foggy all morning, and now here we are. Well, this is a perfect opportunity to break my line and have a little sip of coffee. I'm glad I brought my, I'm living in this new apartment now, which I absolutely love. It's really conducive to working, but it came with a lot of sharp knives, and I keep slicing my fingers, which is not good as someone who, does a lot of drawing and relies on my hands as part of my work. Got to be careful with all the knives in this house, because I got a slice here, and I took off the tip of my pinky here, so I'm trying to keep it up in the air. Let's see if I can do that. Pinky's up. So yeah, speaking of workshops and classes, I'm going into my Zoom class after this, my continuous line drawing Zoom class, which is super amazing. The level of art that people are creating in there is remarkable, right? Everyone has 15 minutes and we're working from the same prompt, but the creativity, because it's really this is an opportunity not just for continuous line, but an opportunity to push your creativity, because it's not like watercolors, and it's not saturated inks, and it's not watercolor pencils. It's all of that and none of that, and it's up to each person. Some people just stay with a ballpoint pen, right? And other people are using 200 materials in that 15 minutes. Inks, paints, gouache, charcoal, pencil, the whole deal, right? It's super exciting. And but then also what I have been working on and just have now completed, I have the hiccups or something, is my Paris workshop agenda. I am ready to launch that, and I am launching it first with my VIP crew. This workshop is, all my workshops are cool. They're very cool. And this one is Paris, and so I've upped the ante. Can't see a dang thing now. Well, that helps a little bit. So I'm going to start releasing my Paris agenda, and honestly, I'm surprised at how quickly it came together, because I was expecting things to be a little, not difficult, but a little challenging with France, because they kind of, they like to, they don't really want to not speak French. They want to speak French, right? And so when I lived there 10 years ago, or was it 10 years ago? Or I think it was a little bit longer. The communication was challenging because we didn't have our phones to help us. And, I had to figure out how to call places and talk to them and ask questions. And I didn't do that very well, right? Well, in this day and age, I can get almost all the information here. The few vendors that I'm partnering with, they were like, here's my Zoom link. Let's hop on Zoom and get it done. None of this back and forth, 300 years, emails, WhatsApp. No, got on Zoom and got shit done. Yeah. So I'm feeling really good about that, how nicely it came together. And I have the greatest agenda in the world. The thing about my workshops is that we, do I dare say my peer workshops, the people, the companies and people that are creating workshops like mine, not like mine, but, sketch workshops and beautiful destinations, when they're going to Europe, usually, not always, but they're going to a castle, going to a villa, going to some place where you're in a bubble. And that's very cool, and I'm not knocking that, but the thing that I like about my workshops is that I like to drop into a community, right? Like in Paris, we're going to Paris, we're getting on the metro, we're, walking to some places. I looked at the options for private transportation as opposed to metro. And first of all, the private transportation is super expensive, and it's easier just to hop on the metro or even hop on the bus. So my workshops include a 10-ride pass on the metro. And honestly, that's where real life is, in Paris, on the metro, and, where the people, I can't speak for all the locals, but I choose places where we mingle with the local community. We're not in these private enclaves, and we're not a busload of 40 Americans dumping off in front of a museum I've always cringed when I see that, and I understand sometimes there's a time and place for that, but my group is no bigger than 10, so we can get into places, we can get into good restaurants. I've made restaurant reservations, including a really lovely gourmet meal on a little boat for the Seine, so we can see the Eiffel Tower on our first night. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited about this. Yeah, so that I'm starting to send it out today, and I'm super excited about that. So, between my drawing and writing agendas, because I have Oaxaca, Sketch Mexico City, and Sketch Paris for 2025. And so I've been doing a lot of writing, and I'm updating all, agendas, and I'm upscaling them, right? So if you've been wanting to go on one of my workshops, well, you missed the opportunity where it was dirt cheap. You've missed it because I've had to raise my prices because everything is more expensive now. So I hope that doesn't dissuade you from attending one of my workshops. But I'm also trying to get my workshops out there sooner so people have more time to plan, right? I mean, the Oaxaca one is in 3 months or 4 months. And ideally, I would like to give people 6 months or more. That means I'd have to change the way I work, right? I can't leave things. I have to be more organized. And I feel like in 2025, that's what my whole game is about. So anyways, my whole game about 2025, yes, is to up the ante, but it's also to work on my mental health, right, and my physical health, and my traveling the world to draw it, right. I am upping the ante because before I die, I want to see and draw as much of the world as possible. And I also want to offer super cool workshops. Like I said, I got Sketch Oaxaca, Sketch Mexico City, and Sketch Paris. And then the next international destination is Sketch Dublin, Cork, right? I also am in my first art exhibit here in San Miguel. I just hung all my art this week. Oh my God, I cried when I saw my art framed, and when I saw my art framed, it cried. I cried. It didn't cry. I cried because I've never framed any of my art. Selling my art has not been my focus, but it's going to be part of my focus now because why not, right? I'm good. I know I'm good. I practice every single day. How can I not be good? And so some people want my art, and so now it's going to be available. I don't do commissions though because that drives me crazy. Oh, could you draw my granddaughter and my doggy and make sure they're perfect? And that one's too chubby. You got to do it all over again or whatever, right? Like I don't do commissions, but I do paint and draw the world, and I'm thrilled to get my art out there and to level up my offerings and my classes and workshops, and to have the opportunity to travel more, sketch more, stay sane. That's a tough one this day and age. And to stay healthy, right? I almost died from COVID a few years ago, so it's super important for me I have to take time to rest. I have to take time to work on my energy and my heart health and my brain health. Super important to me, and I don't talk about it a lot, but these are things that are I think I sort of didn't pay attention to that stuff before. I absolutely have to pay attention to it now. And so like when I'm on my workshops, I'm going, but then when I get home, I'm like, boom, I'm like in the vault, right? Which is what I'm in right now, kind of. I've got some activities that keep me out of the vault, but after Dia de Muertos, I'm going to rest for a little bit. So anyways, what is that? It's like a big bottom. Apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur. What am I singing? I don't even know. Okay, well, right now I can't see a thing because the sun is in my eyes. And I am going into my Zoom class now, but I also just want to encourage everyone to keep with your art practice, especially in these coming months, which are, even though we don't know what's going to happen, it's guaranteed to be insane, guaranteed to be chaotic. And, because even though I think Trump is going to be gone soon, I think a dying mule kicks the hardest, and he is going to do whatever, he and his movement are going to do whatever they can to stay in power, to steal the power, to cause chaos and create problems, right? So, super important to do whatever it takes to keep yourself healthy, sane, and grounded, right? Draw with me. Draw. Let's draw, right? Let's draw. If that helps you to stay sane, that's what I'm going to continue to do. And those of you in the club, in the VIP club, you'll be receiving the Sketch Paris 2025 September workshop information soon. And I may have 2 Paris workshops just so I can accommodate everyone that's going to sign up. All right, everyone, go easy on yourself, go easy on others, right? Because we're in the thick of things right now. I mean, the COVID chaos, that was weird. We are now in political chaos time, right? And no matter where you go, even like, people go, I'm going to leave the United States and go live elsewhere. It's chaotic here. It's chaotic there. The world is chaotic. So do what you can to stay sane, healthy, and creative, right? All right, my friends, have a great weekend. We're going into the weekend. It's a wonderful time of the year, late October. But then we got the elections right around the corner. So, all right, my friends, stay sane. Until next time, see you later. Bye. I can't see.